Oh, bring, bring. That's my ringing, Joel. That means the Keys Bartender show
Okay.
is back on the air. I'm here with Joel, my friend from Spain, who's in Virginia right now at his daughter's house with his lovely wife, Gabby. Say hi, Joel.
Hey.
Okay. Hey.
What's up?
How are you today?
Yeah, good. Really good.
Hey, I wanted to.
Everything's
We we'll start with anything. You have any new developments from where you are?
no, but I would say um, I'm starting to get into this, being sequestered kind of thing. Mainly because my daughter is an angel, and she just sort of she's since she was 3 years old, I delegated reality to her, and she's just taken care of it very well since then. And so I just turned it all over to her, and she's wonderful. So
Uh,
I'm having a pretty good time.
oh, that's great. So you're having a good time with Trent and Megan?
Absolutely, they're incredible.
Oh, that's
It's
great.
really entertaining. And when you hang out with younger people, they tend to get more aches and pains, but you seem to get younger.
Okay.
Just,
Yeah.
just the way it works.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
and you haven't been
How are
out
you?
yet. I'm good. We're our first lockdown officially happened in Florida last night after midnight. Quarantine or what
Okay.
is
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
called lockdown, but it's stay at home order
Yeah.
with the exemption
Right.
for essential businesses and churches.
Right.
Churches. So
Yeah. I don't know.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I don't
Okay.
comment on
Yeah,
it.
yeah, because that's
I
going
have-
to work out really
Yeah.
good um, because God's going to really help out because he's stopped it he's been doing a great job so far of controlling it.
Yeah.
So
He
uh,
starts it and he stops it,
yeah,
then he starts it again.
yeah, and
Then
no,
he
and no
stops
one
it.
religious, nobody
I don't-
who goes to church got sick yet. Oh, wait a second, a whole bunch of people died
Yeah.
so far. Oh, let me detract everything I just said.
What,
Okay.
what can I say? Thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I
Yeah.
I started going to I go to a 12-step meeting, and since
Yeah.
the stay-at-home order, I decided to use a social media source called Zoom. Have you
Yeah.
heard about it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear what happened a couple days ago?
Which one?
Well,
I mean,
on
what happened?
Tuesday, people started a lot of different 12-step programs started meeting online, and they incorrectly called it hackers people coming on and joining the
Yeah.
meetings because of the nature
Yeah.
of the 12-step programs. They're you don't they're open to everyone because anyone could need it.
Right. Right.
So what happens is they call them hackers, but it's really not hackers because there's nothing to hack into. You just go to the meeting, and there's very little
Right.
controls for it. And I heard before I went on that people were getting on and they were jumping into meetings and saying things like, oh, why don't you drink? Your drink is so good, and people are drinking, and they're cajoling the people at the meetings. But yesterday was my first experience trying to get online with a meeting, because I went to a meeting in the morning in person before the lockdown, because there was less than 10 people.
Yeah.
And later on in the day, I said, you know what, I better try to go to a meeting. And yesterday I tried 2 meetings, and actually 3 of them. Well, two meetings. And the first one I went to was kind of a generally open session. It was like there were just 2 young guys on it doing God knows what stupid shit. And then a more formal meeting, and it opens up with a video posting of a guy taking his pants off and showing his ass to the camera, and then turning around and he has his prodigious penis hanging there, and it's and that was going on, and then there were a bunch of voices, weird voices going on, so they quickly closed that off. And then they closed it off, and then they tried to make it more secure by having somebody vigilant just to knock people off who aren't supposed to be there.
Right.
But they really didn't have that tight of controls. And they made it through about 25 minutes of the meeting, and then they just started showing gay porn on the site. And well, there's the thing is, like, I've have 100 days. I'm a grown, but there's people with like 1 week, 1 day, couple of days trying to stay sober, and they can't go to meetings because the things are, and as a more experienced one, it's kind of funny. I would laugh it off, but for these people trying to stay sober, they're ready to go out, to the liquor store. Liquor stores have not been closed down. They're considered essential, because otherwise probably they. What did we come to decide, that if the liquor stores were closed, it probably would be looted? What do you think?
You'd have a rebellion on your hands.
Yeah.
Just to keep everybody a little drunk,
Yeah. So, but there's some people that don't want to be, that aren't interested in drinking right now.
Right.
And
right.
these guys come on there, and it's
that's
guys maybe.
Serious. Yeah.
Yeah. And they were just bombarding the meetings.
That's just overall meeting.
Well, I mean, it's not just, they said I thought it was AA, and it turns out it's almost anything. One guy was doing his doctoral dissertation over Zoom, and they started showing porn, and then they turned off the microphones. They muted all the microphones and muted all the videos.
Yeah.
So
it has. I've been reading. It has. I've heard about it going on in academia, because they have the on Zoom classes,
mm-hmm.
and anybody can sign in on that, and
mm-hmm.
then somebody's going to get herky jerky there.
Yeah.
And that could be a little fun, but like you said, here are people trying to help themselves. And I don't know, you got to be, what would I call it professionally? I guess a scumbag. You got to be a scumbag to try and interfere with some kind of therapy, some kind of help, some kind of self-help. What are you doing? It's so immature.
Yeah, well, I mean, it'd be akin to breaking into a regular therapy session,
Yeah.
And disrupting it, and just going up, beating on the window.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's
yeah.
That's what they're doing. It's interrupting It's interrupting therapy. And like your reaction, actually, I thought, personally, I thought it was funny. But I don't recall, you know, I came into, everyone has their different reaction to coming into AA. There's one of the
Yeah.
things they call it, it's like happy, joyous, and free, they say, and stuff like that. But other people are crying doing it. They're in pain. They really want a drink. They need a drink. And those people feel deeply wounded by, these actions. And that
Yeah.
that part, when someone says like 2-3 days, they're, and I mean, they could be looking, and I'm not sharing anything that was said. The things I'm sharing are the things that were shown were people that well, I'm going to call it hacked, even though they did not hack. They just walk. It's akin to walking into a room and exposing yourself. That's what they did, and it doesn't take any
Like a
specific.
cheap act.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
take any particular technical skill to be able to bust in one of these meetings.
No,
No.
it really doesn't.
Yeah.
It's cheap. It's really cheap.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and I, on the other hand, I think it's oh God, how would you do it? It's almost like graffiti, or it is. They don't realize how harmful this type of behavior is, because obviously they're not
Yeah.
in that. If they were in that spot, they wouldn't be doing it. That's not.
Yeah.
They don't.
Um,
They're not. They're in a different place, and they just have no idea. This is funny. This is humor. This is the weird. The lines have drawn. It's like the Jackass stuff where people, in Philadelphia, they started out
Yeah.
years ago in Philadelphia. When I was finishing up school, the guys would just start doing stupid things like jumping off roofs in the bushes. I seen them do that. They got all this extra clothes
Yeah.
on and kind of dove into a bush as going to use it as a padding. They wrapped themselves
Yeah.
up, and really crazy shit, and
Yeah.
to be outrageous. And I mean, in that case, it's funny. I think someone like the celebrity Johnny Knoxville will probably look in on that and say, "This is outrageous. This is they would never like Borat. He would never do anything like that. Break it to a 12-step meeting,
No.
and pull a
Um,
reality comedy thing. The way they do it, the way people set up these scenarios, these reality comedy shows. There's a show called Pranksters or something like that, and
Yeah.
they would set up.
I guess that's the original Jackass. Yeah.
Yeah,
The original
Jackass. And stuff.
Jackass.
Yeah, well, they'd set up scenarios for it. Invite people in for a job interview. One of those consumer studies, and that's what the Borat
Yeah.
would do. He hired a publication firm, and they come in and say they make sure it's all adults and all that stuff, and they'd show. He may do something
Yeah.
outrageous, but he's doing it for people that are getting paid, and they're spoofing it. They're not coming in for therapy and stuff like that. But that's the kind of like the segue into what I wanted to talk about. What happened since people are quarantined? I guess that's the best way to think. We call it lockdown, shutdown, stay-at-home order, quarantine. Eventually, I'll tell you with the Zoom thing. I ended up going to a meeting in the morning, this morning, and it was an
Yeah.
hour, and it was a local one in Miami, and they did a wonderful job. They did a wonderful job, and I'm not ruining anybody's anonymity. They had someone there. I mean, I don't know if it was too early for these knuckleheads because they don't. Eventually, there's nothing you could do to really. There's no repercussions for it other than years from now, they may realize, when they mature enough, because their brains aren't fully formed, they may realize they're going to be really regretting these actions that they're doing. Maybe,
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask Jim, whether they were, it sounds like they're kind of childish.
Yeah.
Think, something to do like that. Maybe it's good for a prank, interrupting a class for a moment. But to get into as we're saying, therapeutic kind of meeting with people who are in crisis, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, we did stuff when we were kids. We did the old one where you just pick a random number from the phone book,
Mm-hmm.
and you call up and you say, "Hey, is Jerry there?" And they're like, "No, wrong number. No Jerry here." Half an hour later, another guy calls up. "Hey, is Jerry there?" Yeah, no, not Jerry here. It goes on for a little while like that, 4 or 5 calls. And then finally somebody calls in and says, "Hi, this is Jerry. Any messages?" So, really teenage shit.
Yeah. I had it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I've had, we did all that stuff. It changed. It got a little more bawdy, I think, as the years went by. I've had recently, I had this woman, God, what was it? Roka. This woman called up and she didn't speak English, but she kept on calling my number asking for Roka. And I said, sorry, wrong number. She goes, no Roka? I said, no Roka. And she called back like 6 times, right? And I wasn't annoyed, but I figured this time I told her, she kept on calling the same number. So I said, hold on a second, maybe I can find her. And I just started going, Roka, Roka, and Roka. And I did it for like a minute, and then I waited, and I go, hold on a second, Roka. And I just let her stay there. So I wanted her to, just for that to settle in eventually that Roka wasn't there and she was calling them. Maybe she would figure out instead of keep on calling the number that Roka wasn't there. So eventually she started laughing. She goes, oh, no Roka. And I go, yeah. And she didn't call back after
No
that. I think I perfected the, you had the prank phone calls, but I do the prank answer.
Yeah.
I love doing the prank answering.
Yeah,
I think Seinfeld started doing that originally.
I did that with. I did that. They used to call us in Baltimore to get us to subscribe to the Sun, the Baltimore Sun, if you remember that, the newspaper. Yes. And they all had the exact same pitch. And so I got a call at a really inconvenient time once from them, and I knew immediately who it was that reading the pitch off the paper, and the pitch starts with, hello, is this the man of the house? And I said, no, it's the dog of the house. So there's like a 5-second pause, and then they go directly back into the pitch. So I barked. It's like another 5-second pause. And they started up again. I barked again, and then they clicked off. But the thing is, they blacklisted me after that, so I never got another call.
Oh, that's great.
He's a weirdo. He's a weirdo category.
I got the call from India where they were saying that the IRS, I owed money to the IRS. And then there was a warrant sworn out for my arrest. And that there was, and I think he said a paddy wagon, which I thought was funny because it was in Florida at that time.
Yeah.
They don't really use paddy wagons down here, but they must have heard it. They must have saw it. They must have saw the movie Signs with Mel Gibson. Because I think,
it's an old movie, right?
Yeah, they must have thought paddy wagon was a universal thing down here, and it was from the Northeast. And said a paddy wagon, or he said the cops. They said, I think whatever said the cops are going to be coming to your door. And I said, oh, the cops.
Yeah.
And so I would I keep them on right there for a while, and then the Facebook message that, did you hear the good news that you won the Facebook lottery? And I said, oh, that's great. And I said, well,
Yeah.
just I'll give him my address, and he goes, well, there's something you have to do. And I said, well, what do you have to do? Oh, well, in order to do it, you have to, submit a small, thing to get the prize, so they can mail it to you. And they go, oh, you got to give them money so you can get money? And they said, how long does that take? Like 2 weeks. They go, like 2 weeks. And I go, if I give them more money, could I give them my PayPal account? Could I give them, can I send coins, maybe gold coins? And I said, how much money is it? And they said, how about if I just give you half of that money? I said, wait a second, is that sweepstakes I got paid for last week? I said, I just got some money. I got about $25,000 for that last one. I said, am I going to have to report this like I had to the last one? And I said, and then I got a car, and I kept on talking to them, and they go, hold on, and they keep on trying to stop me. And I go, wait, I'm talking here. I called you, didn't I? And they go, no, we called you. And I said, oh, this is outrageous. And then I go, and then I said, you know what? They can send the money. And I said, you're going to have to send me a check to get, send me a check for $50, and I will send you a money order for $25. And they go, no, that's not going to work. And I said, okay, send it. And then I would go and say, make it out for $100 then. And they kept on going, no, we're not going to pay you. And I said, I know. That's exactly. Finally, you're not going to pay me. And he said, this is it, because it's bullshit. And I said, and I try to keep them on at 25 minutes because it just gave me so much joy. Stuff like that. They did it with, whenever they try to get money from you and stuff like that. Oh, incredible. But this is a segue into the weird shit I've been seeing. More weird shit I've been seeing on social media since people have been quarantined. And I know you're not a big follower on that. You don't. I could tell you some of the things people are doing.
I'm not on. Yeah, I'm not on Facebook, Twitter, any of that stuff.
Well, some of it is really cute. Some of it is really cute. There was some lady, she tied up a bunch of balloons to her little dog, right? And
sent them aloft.
Yeah, you put them in goggles and put them up. Slowly let them go in the house. You know what I mean? And she's holding on to let go up. And then there's a stupid one. Somebody figured this out, that some girl with real long hair and a guy. They would the way they pose in front of the camera, it would look like a horse's tail, and she'd drop her hair in front of the camera, and the guy would be in front of her and doing they do in sequence the galloping thing that's moseying along, and you just see the guy's back with the cowboy hat, and he looks like he's riding a horse, and you see the girl's shoulders and her mane of hair coming to the tail going along. It looked like a horse, a guy riding a horse. And there are people doing it. It's pretty much, it's like the ice bucket challenge. You remember the ice bucket challenge?
Yeah.
That was the dumbest thing I remember, the ice bucket challenge. I mean, it's like they would bribe you in or blackmail you into donating for some charity, or you have to dump a bucket of ice on yourself, ice water, right? I don't know how.
Yeah.
It was, I mean.
Oh yeah, I sort of remember now. Yeah.
It just, I didn't like any part of the whole thing, and I'm sorry. And it was such a craze to do that. And you know what? Here I am. I'm probably the worst of doing a podcast, but I'm going to be on my way to 300 episodes. So it's not like I'm doing this. I'm not. There's in the next couple of weeks, they're going to have the millionth podcast to have been posted on podcast on iTunes. The millionth, not the millionth episode, the millionth unique one. Most podcasts don't make it up to 10 episodes. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Most don't make it. Less than half make it up to 10 episodes, and then it starts dropping off. After that, once you get and then once you get to 100, I think about maybe 10% make it to 100, and then it goes even smaller from starts dropping off from there. So
what do you attribute your success to?
Being insane enough to keep on doing it. I don't know. I think it would be like not worried about the quality. I know, and it may anger people, stuff, but if I was worried about every moment in quality and every misstep I did, then I would stop immediately. It's called the making good the enemy of the perfect. And
nice.
So, and then eventually, the show would, I thought would have just eventually change. It's just keep on doing it, eventually change, and I'll just make it on the commentary because the Keys bartender, we're in the Florida Keys. This is a conversation I would have at a bar. That would be it.
Yeah.
And I'm a bartender.
Yeah.
So, a bartender who it doesn't matter. Cheers was a very popular comedy show, and Sam Malone didn't drink.
Yeah.
It was about a bar, and the main character didn't drink. So, why would people take issue with that? Right?
Mm-hmm.
The host of some singing show may not be a singer. The people that do all that shit. But the weird shit that are coming out right now, there's people doing curling, curling, the Canadian sport with the puck.
Yes, I've never understood that.
Well, they're doing it with their
really fun.
They're doing it with their
Never
Roombas.
understood
They
it.
get in their mop like a Swiffer in front of it. And the Roomba's coming out and they're swiffing in front of it with their Swiffer. You don't get how they do it?
Yeah,
Are you there?
I'm here. Well, I've seen the Canadian version. Yeah.
No, okay. Well, what they do is they got people with the brooms and they sweep ice dust in front of it to guide it on its direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Right. I theoretically understand that, but I really don't get it.
Okay.
In practical terms, I wouldn't know what to do if, they gave me a broom.
Oh, I would furiously just brush in front of it to wherever I would go, and just make sure that you're doing it, and try not to fall down on the ice, because that's got to be embarrassing. You fell down in front of it. But that's just one of the things. Oh, well, I mean, it gets really, Joel, some of the bars. Abby showed me something, and this is really creepy. There's a young lady, an attractive young lady. I mean, I can't tell how attractive, because she's squatting down, right, in this video.
Yeah.
With her posterior and her nether region exposed.
What?
Yeah, she's bent over
Oh, no.
with another, and this guy has a magic marker, and he draws 2 circles around her anus, right?
Okay.
And he's talking to her and all that stuff. And it was a Polish video. It said something in Polish, but it turned out they're speaking English. It was happening in the United States, the people that are making it. And I mean, it's showing pretty much everything, right, on this girl. And this girl, and the guy says, "Does this bother you?" "No, this doesn't bother me." But they're doing it and drawing, and then all of a sudden, he starts drawing on her right cheek of her ass, and he's drawing something, and all of a sudden, wait, that looks like Homer Simpson. And oh my God, these people are, I would call it disturbingly very creative. Disturbingly very creative. Because the,
Disturbingly creative.
yeah, is that, it's
I like that. I like that
Okay,
as a
see,
term.
wanna
Can I
hear
use
this
that? Like
because
for an album?
yeah,
Or
well, the
a
mouth.
group name? Or,
I mean, it was Homer Simpson. He drew on the
yeah.
woman's body part right there, and the part where her vagina was, and my daughter's in the other room. I don't want to say it too loud. Was his mouth, right? And it was shaded and shaded
Yeah.
just like that. It looked like Homer Simpson. And this is what they did. I mean, it's like people are just going insane, and that's just a couple things. There's
Yeah.
it started out, you know, some people in Spain, in Madrid, in this apartment complex. They're what they do is they have their they have two apartment buildings facing each other, right? And they're playing Battleship.
Yeah.
They're playing Battleship with their drapes closed. And each apartment was a grid space, right? So B7,
Yeah.
B6, B5, and if you had enough, like they would assign in the apartment building, they would assign which ship they would be, and which apartments are connected to make that ship, right? You know how Battleship is played, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, they're playing it,
Yeah.
and someone picked this scene, and you see this guy yelling one of the grid things, and the guy says, "You sunk my battleship," and in Spanish, "You bastard," shouting out the window. I mean, that's insanely creative. I mean, you've seen the people singing, putting on the
Yeah.
little, but they're getting. There's ones that are getting creative, and the ones that are getting really creepy. And the Zoom thing is the real,
Yeah.
the dark side of it. The dark side of it, right?
Before we get too far away from it, I did want to mention that a group of guys that I'm playing music with now, and we're like, we're all like 70-year-olds or above, and but back in the day, they had a group that was called, and they had a minor hit, but the name of the group was Dick Uranus.
What?
Get it?
Yeah.
Hmm?
Dick Uranus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dick Uranus.
Yeah.
And their minor hit, which was then kind of covered by a more well-known band, and I forget who it was, but it was called Dime Store Dick, and it was sort of almost a Damon Runyon kind of detective, crime sort of thing from years ago. So, yeah, there's no end. There's no limit to creativity. Yeah.
Oh man, that sounds amazing. Hey, did you bring your instrument today?
I do. I have it right here.
Oh, I said, you know what? I got mine. I'm looking right at mine right now. Hold on a second. Tell the listeners right now while I'm walking away about how long you've been playing. Okay, give it about a minute. Give yourself at least a minute, and then I'll join in. Okay, hold on. Okay.
Yeah. How long I've been playing? All right. So I had my bar mitzvah when I was 13, and then in Judaism you have a choice. You can continue with your religious activities and do all the right things, or you can choose to do something else. And I chose, and this is 1955. I turned 13, and I chose to take up the guitar. My first teacher, I think he must have been a World War II veteran. he had a bad limp, and he was just excellent at the guitar. He had a one of these beautiful carved archtop acoustic guitars, the FO guitars, and I was just really captured by that. And he did all these wonderful things. Meanwhile, I'm listening to new music, rock and roll, of course. And so I continued that for a while, maybe. And then I had some pain in one of my fretting fingers. I think I was going at it a little too hard. So I backed off, but then I picked up again in college. And then I had a group in college, and it was Dig This. So this is like, now we're up to the 1960s, early 60s, late 50s.
What type of music?
And the name of the
Dig
group.
This. What did you play? Originals or cover?
We're doing we're doing cover. We're doing cover, and the name of the group, it was, let's say it's 1960, and the name of the group was Jay Walker and the Pedestrians. And in fact, it was, dig it, man. We were the first integrated group on campus. And so our front guy, wonderful voice, black singer, and his name was actually Jay Walker, is where the whole thing derived from. And we would play, mostly fraternity parties and that sort of thing. And without going into too much detail, this was like a border state that we were in. And so some of those fraternities, they would hire us, but they were like more like Southern fraternities. And some of them didn't like it. And we had other black guys in the group too. It was pretty integrated. And, the fraternity party would go on, and some of the white girls would be like intrigued by some of the black guys. And that's when it would start to get dicey. And, and we'd be like, okay, we'll be back in 20 minutes. And we never came back.
What university was it?
It out the back door. No, I'm not gonna give you all that info.
What state was it?
I would say it was a borderline state, a border state.
Like Kentucky?
Whatever they call it.
Virginia, Maryland?
Not Kentucky.
Kentucky?
Yeah, like Virginia.
Okay. I can see it. Well, I mean, I imagine it wouldn't be much different than in Pennsylvania in 1960 if you go to the wrong place,
Yeah, Pennsylvania wasn't a border.
I know, but I mean, it still was,
state.
They still had a lot of people with hard feelings there. So you got your guitar with you now, and you played. You played in college. I got mine. I got my whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
You played.
Then I played. Then I played when I was in graduate school.
Okay, where was graduate school? Well,
yeah, I'm not saying.
Oh, come on! I know you.
Yeah,
wait, I can find that out.
I don't know who's listening. And
Why
I don't want them
graduate
to.
school. I mean, are you? Oh, wait.
I have them.
Are you flummoxed?
I have too much info on me. This is not full disclosure. This is not what's my life. I'm allowed to keep
it is
something,
kind of because I'm asking you these questions. So
I know.
you already told you. You already.
But
If they looked up a guy named Joel and you did psychoacoustic stuff, then how hard will it be to find out who you are and where you went to school?
What are you diming me out now? I haven't been nice enough?
We did that episodes and episodes ago. So they're gonna know who it was. Yeah. Matter of fact, they'd come
it's
across
not like
with.
I care, but I do. I just want to protect the innocent.
Okay.
Like myself.
And then did you play?
I consider myself
And then during your professional career did you play? Huh? Did you play while you were a therapist?
I've always played. But, what I was going to say then is I played in grad school.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the 60s. And so and we would invite faculty over to our parties. And I would be playing, I kind of liked Hendrix and all that weird stuff.
Okay.
And I would do that stuff, and it would just, faculty's jaws would drop, and I guess they thought I was pretty creative. I don't know. And then, at some point, I was in Baltimore, and I was at Peabody Conservatory, blah, blah, blah. And doing Brainwaves into Music. Oddly enough, during
Johns
that
Hopkins,
period of
I
time,
guess. And you said
I
Baltimore.
wasn't making...
The Johns Hopkins and the University of Maryland. There's the only two places.
Well, it was Hopkins. It was Peabody.
Yeah, okay.
So that anybody can connect with. But what happened was, while I was working on Brainwaves into Music, one of the things I realized was I'm not making my own music. This is too intense.
Mm-hmm.
I had to focus on work, and it wasn't until after that I picked up on my own music and eventually got into it just seemed right coming out of what I was doing with Peabody with experimental music to continue that on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And that one is called either free jazz or free improvisation, that kind of stuff, which is just weird stuff. And I love it. It's kept me interested ever since.
Oh, okay.
Is that you on your instrument back there?
Yeah. You hear that kind of
Making
little
some sound?
whine at the end?
Yeah, I love it. Do you want to try jamming for a moment? Not too long.
Sure.
A minute or two.
Sure. I'll follow your line.
Okay.
Whatever.
Huh?
Yeah. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me get my yacht.
Have you had any drinks today?
Huh?
Have you had a cocktail yet? It's 3:00.
What's that?
Have you had a drink today?
Who, me?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm having a good time right now, and I'm just drinking some coffee. Yeah.
I know, and you're straight. But I've tried to say my favorite server is asking me if I've had a drink today. Listen, the way it works. So we live in Spain.
Yeah.
So I'll just say, if you don't have a glass of wine with lunch in Spain, they'll throw you out. They'll throw you out of the country, man.
Mm-hmm.
Just the way it works.
Okay.
Ain't trying to tempt you, anything like that. You're
get away
doing
with
what
it,
you need to
trust me.
do, and congratulations on it. But I'm just saying that's my life. You asked.
100 days. 100 days for me. 100 and I don't know. 100 and Christ, 104 days. Okay, you ready?
Congratulations, man. It's great. Yeah, I'm bringing my axe up right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't claim that it's in tune, but for the kind of music I do, it doesn't have to be in tune.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Right?
mine's pretty much tuned.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That'll help anchor us.
Yeah. Let me tune
Right?
it up here.
You start. Good.
I think we did enough. Are you there?
Perfect.
I think.
Perfect, man. You're sounding good. You're sounding good. Huh? You feel a little more enlightened?
Yes, I do.
Honestly.
I think if there is anybody listening, we probably fried their brains. And maybe if someone does listen later, that if it does interpret their brainwaves, if that their brainwaves are there, they're ready to blow up a mall right now.
Yes.
I always think
Anything
about
we
how
can do to
creepy
help.
that is
You know what
right
I'm
now,
saying?
Joel. Not the music, not the music. When we just said that, all the malls that are empty. You know,
Yeah.
just all the mall
Yeah.
in the places where that they're shut down, in most of the first world, let's say. It's got to be creepy if you're in there. If you're one of those mall security guys, just walk around there in post-apocalyptic empty mall, doing whatever. You could play whatever. I bet there's mall security guards having Segway races right now. You know, the two-wheel scooters.
Yeah.
That'd probably good. I mean, I guess they wouldn't be able to post that. I asked someone to post the weirdest stuff. I saw some pretty weird stuff. I saw some guy. There's a guy who didn't have a treadmill, and he took some dish detergent soap, and he walks up to his tile floor, and he pours the dish detergent soap, and then he turns on the sink, gets a handful of water, throws it on the ground, and then he puts his hands on the counter, and he starts walking like on a treadmill. Yeah, on his bare feet.
Yeah.
And he's kind of running. It's kind of cool. I mean, eventually, that won't work. But hey, before we sign off, do you go outside at all? Do you guys get any exercise outside?
I'm waiting for it to get a little warmer. It's
still chilly. It's kind of chilly up there.
I just went through a course of antibiotics and steroids because I had like a weird cough. It wasn't even my lungs.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about it, but it was more like a ticklish throat kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing much better now. I have bad lungs at this point, but the thing is, I'm just waiting for it to get a little bit warmer, and then we'll be getting out more.
Okay.
But it's getting there. The temperature's getting into the 60s, and I'm going to be getting more active because I'm feeling pretty good today, I have to say. Energetic.
We went for a bike ride earlier today. We went down to.
Oh man, great.
We went down past the Key Largo Park into that neighborhood. You know, we're up near we're about a half mile from Moon Bay. So.
From.
Yeah, down to
From
Key
where?
Largo Park, which it wasn't. We did maybe 6 mile, 7 mile ride today, 8 mile ride through the neighborhood. A leisurely ride, you know. So it's not all about running and stuff like that. I do a little running. I haven't ran in a while, but just trying to stay moderately healthy. I didn't want to go back to when things get back. I can't let myself go completely. So.
No, it sounds like you're taking good care of yourself, man. I'm happy to hear that.
Thank you.
You've become a good friend, and what can I say? Take care of yourself and your family, and you all be well.
You wanna do this? When do you want to do this again?
You tell me. I got all the time in the world.
Do Friday. You want to do this Sunday?
What's Sunday? Let's push to next week.
How about Monday?
Okay.
Monday, 3:00, same time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good, man.
I'll do that.
All right.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to thank Joel and say hi to Gabby, Megan, and Trent, and the puppy there.
Sure.
Okay. And you take care.
The pups at the beauty this afternoon.
Oh.
Getting all bathed, getting his nails clipped, getting his anus cleaned.
Oh, that's
and
got to squeeze the glands, right?
You know. Yeah, is that too much info?
No, that's what I didn't know that was a thing until recently. So
you can do that. That. Hey, this is a treasure. This is a treasured dog. I love him.
Oh, okay.
Really
I thought you said
him.
it's a treasured event. I didn't know where you were going with that.
Yeah.
About
no. Yeah.
Yeah.
I often don't know either.
Yes.
Not clear. Not a clear route, man.
Yes.
Often not a clear route.
Well,
all right.
Listen, take care, and I will talk to you on Monday.
You too.
Stay healthy.
Sounds good.
Bye.
And hi to yours. All of yours.
Thank you, Joel.
Okay, man.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, this is Jim the Keys bartender. I did thank Joel. I'd like to thank you for listening. And if you do not follow us on the Florida Keys Bartender on Facebook, Keys Bartender on Instagram or Twitter. And if you have any ideas for a show, keep on sending them. I will be back to probably do one more show this weekend. I'd like to thank you for listening and take care.